good job with that, running the ball. And we do throw a lot of play-action pass off the wing. And we've been trying to run the veer mixed in with the wing, make a good combination of veer and the wing tee. And on defense, we stop the run. We feel like we got to stop the run. We do a pretty good job up front. We got two good linebackers that fill holes real well. Secondary, we're fair, and we're going to try to slow them down a little bit throwing the ball.
It's the best high school football players in the state ball, the 5A semifinal championship at the Dome. An unranked Westside Macon against a powerhouse in Parkview. It has all the elements of a great Saturday night.
Parkview won the state title in 1997, and they're looking to make hay for the second time in 4 years. On the sideline this afternoon is Rob Tribble.
Well, guys, Westside's kicking game is in a shambles right now. Starting kicker Grant Trotter as a hip pointer. He's going to be able to kick, but his effectiveness is going to be definitely compromised. As for their punter, he has a bad ankle. Really not in any situation you want to be in when you have to go up against Parkview. Let's go back upstairs.
Those are kind of variables that make it difficult to pull the upset. But again, we've seen this throughout the day, throughout yesterday. Whatever you may expect to happen, don't count on it. This is the playoffs, this is the semifinals, and it's the Georgia Dome on a Saturday night. Stake Shapiro and Bobach have the call. It's the 5A semifinal championship. Parkview and Westside Macon coming at you.
You're watching the Georgia High School Association Football Championships on GPTV.
Live at the Georgia Dome, Stake Shapiro and Bobach from Atlanta's sports leader, Sports Talk 790 The Zone, the sports radio station here in Atlanta, Georgia, and Bo, the Parkview Panthers and the Westside Macon Seminoles. The final game of what has been a great two-day, 10-game run, of which people here at the Dome and for GPTV have worked tirelessly. And hopefully, Bo, we get lucky like we did last night. We got the best game of Friday in Starrs Mill and Harrington. And we hope we get the same today.
Well, I think we're going to, Stake, because Robert Davis is an excellent coach, as is Cecil Flo. Both of these guys have been in big games before, and as you see Parkview taking the field right now, these look like two small college teams. The way they take the field, you love the way their entrance, and these two teams are ready to do battle tonight. I think we're going to have a great game.
Well, Westside Macon, Bo, not only the kicking game, but obviously having 3 losses on the year. Granted, they were to some of the great power teams in the state, Warner, Robbins, Brookwood, and Northside. But they, talking to Coach Davis before the game, they said they wanted to peak in week 11. That's what they was gearing everything toward. Obviously, he's been here before. He's won with Warner Robbins, 1 state titles. And
3 state titles and 2 national titles.
So he understands the process of getting, to the end of the season and getting to the tournament and trying to be in a position where your team is playing at its best. He feels like it's the best they've played. He feels they're undersized, plays with a lot of heart, a lot of the things you heard about Starrs Mill. But obviously, anytime you go up against the tradition of what they're facing tonight, I mean, that's something that can be intimidating.
Well, you've got to get a break, you've got to make your breaks, and you've got to make a big play. And they've got some big play running backs on this Westside squad who can really, tote the pig.
Yeah, 2,000-yard rushers, a member of this club this year, Bo. We talked about George Presley, the running back, and we talk about Antoine Stewart. Stewart runs more like a fullback. He'll be off tackle and look to pound it. They'll look to use the speed of George Presley outside and get him some space and allow him to maybe make some big plays.
2 great students, by the way. Stewart a 4.0, 1,200 SAT, and Presley 3.8 and 1,000 SAT. And I notice as we go through the program and looking at these kids, both of these schools have some excellent student athletes.
Kicking off, Westside Macon. Parkview will return Grant Totter. He of the hip pointer will kick off. Patrick McCorkey back for Parkview. We're ready to go. The 5A semifinal championship, a chance to play in the state final against Harrington, who played a great game here last night. Let's play some football.
Do a little more to kick here, Stake.
Parkview crossed the 30 and cut down to the 36-yard line. That's Joey Sturdivant. He's one of their two-way players, and He gives them pretty good field position for Parkview to come out of the gate.
With their kicker unable to drive the ball, they had to go with that mortar kick and try to get a little more height on it and perhaps not give them that about 8 or 9, 10-yard return.
Clint Sammons comes out of the quarterback. Let's look at his offensive line. That's Spellman, Armstrong, Levengood, Fleming, and Sutterth. Be protecting Clint Sammons. A lot of seniors up front. Dawkins and Ogletree in the backfield. We're underway here. Sammons, handoff straight ahead across the 40. Just outside the 40-yard line of the 41, Sean Dawkins hit on the play.
This is a multiple pro set offense that we're going to see from Parkview tonight. And they do a lot of things. They're a very well-balanced ball club.
Tim Bray with the tackle for Westside Macon. Here's their defensive front. Hudson Pope, Davis, and Mann. Defensive backs, linebackers, Kent, Rouse, Richardson, Freeman, Talton, Morgan. Let's make sure we got that last guy. 2nd and 6. Sammons under center. Man in motion, lone running back. They pitch outside, goes to Dawkins. Dawkins across the 45 to the 47. That'll be a big run, first down, and the flag down on the play.
Well, they had the cluster formation to the right, Stake, and the formation was strong to the right. They came back to the left side with motion, and that lead blocker got a great block, a kick-out block on the linebacker.
Got a great block, Bo, because there's a hole, it looks like, in Parkview. He's going to move backwards on this one. That's the guy they'll really use to pound the football, Bo, Sean Dawkins. He's only a sophomore.
He's a beauty. Sean Dawkins, 5'11", 215. He's got a 300-pound bench press. It's a 4.6 in the 40. He's 855 yards on the year.
Holding on the offense. Repeat, 2nd down.
Look at those itty-bitty defensive players for Westside Macon. Some of them only go about 5'11", 170 pounds. They rely on speed and quickness and cunning.
Bo, gentlemen, you see tonight to watch for is Jeff Francour, number 12. He's one of the big play players in the state of Georgia. A 3-touchdown game already in this tournament. 2nd and 16, ball at the 30. Sammons play action, back to pass, looking downfield. He overthrown, picked off. Great interception there. Westside Macon in control. Picked off by number 26, Clint Kent. Defensive back, backup free safety. And how about that for a big play early? They put him in a 2nd and long ball, and Westside Macon makes a play.
Francour is their leading wide receiver, and you see they start him out of the backfield, and they ran him on an out. He tried to go to the up receiver and actually had 3 receivers over there and just picked the wrong one, the one that was in double coverage.
Tony Mathis, now junior quarterback. He can run it very nicely. Good option quarterback as well out of this wing formation. Don't be surprised if Westside Macon, who doesn't throw much, comes out looking to throw the ball. That's how they got back in the game last week. Fake the handoff, as we said. Mathis rolling right, looking downfield. He's got a man, and it's incomplete on the side. Looking for Marlon White, the sophomore. But Bo, in talking to Coach Davis before the game, one of the things he was impressed by last night was the way Harrington, our running team, Bo, came out throwing the football.
Well, Harrison last night, Coach Cobley wanted to throw the football early because he wanted to surprise him. A great call here by Robert Davis, and you can see Mathis's arm. This kid looks like he really can throw it.
2nd and 10, ball at the 46-yard line. Westside making the early turnover in business. Handoff, straight ahead, get about 3. Antoine Stewart, the fullback. 10:31 to go. We're in the first quarter of the 5A semifinal championship. The opportunity to go to the championship game against Harrington.
Brent Brock is the offensive coordinator for Westside. He played at Florida State, and he's been around a long time. He's a heck of an offensive coordinator. David Bruce is the defensive coordinator.
3rd and 7, ball on the 43-yard line. Faking the pitch, trying to run straight ahead, and that Parkview defensive front is ferocious.
Yeah, they'll run.
Cut him down.
They'll run the wing tee. They'll run the veer. They'll throw the football. They try to do a lot of things in a lot of different formations.
Zeb McKenzie and Willis Sutterth. Look at the penetration here. That's what's going to be tough all night. That's where Parkview is just killer. They've got a lot of experience up front, a lot of seniors. Massey and Surdeth, of course, the seniors. Chad Leathers, the junior, and Seb McKenzie. What a specimen as a sophomore.
So they can get the running game going, then they can run some play action and be effective.
4th and 6. Shotgun form. No, they're going to punt. And remember, they're worried about their kicking game tonight. This one looks like it may be headed for the end zone. It's end over end, and it is indeed landing in the end zone. So that's where Parkview will take over on the touchback. They'll come out to the 20-yard line.
Almost had a chance. That was a fine punt for a punter with a bad ankle. Almost had a chance to down that inside the 2. Just a little bit too long.
Well, it died right when it hit, but unfortunately it hit right in the end zone. So a opportunity wasted. Not a good sign for Coach Davis, Bo. Second play from scrimmage, essentially the third play from scrimmage. You get the big interception, you get the momentum changer, you hope, and do absolutely nothing with the football offensively. So now Parkview back in action. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. 9:18 to go, quarter number 1. Salmons, hands off, straight ahead. That's Austin Ogletree, gets about 3.
Austin Ogletree just on that dive on the left side, and he's also the leading tackler on this team. Parkview has a lot of great athletes that go both ways. Here it is right here, simple handoff to the left side. And what they will try to do is wear down Westside with their superior size.
Coach Davis does not believe in the two-way player, Bo, and he thinks it's an advantage for his club and has been throughout the season that they only play guys one way. And a guy like Francour, who's such an outstanding athlete, plays almost 60 plays a game. That could be a factor. 2nd and 6, 24-yard line, 8:40 to go. They hand off on the outside there and get nothing. Brad Lester.
See how quick the Westside Macon defense is. They had about 6 or 7 hats on that ball, and they really can go sideline to sideline.
So far, Bo, undersized Westside Macon doing a good job up front, controlling the line of scrimmage. They've already been benefited from a holding call, and here taking care of business on 1st and 2nd down against Brad Lester and Austin Ogletree. Lester only a freshman, Bo. Watch him tonight, number 35. Shotgun formation. Clint Salmons.
Spread the field here.
Got 4 wide receivers, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. 3rd down and 5. Salmons. Downfield is caught. And this could go for a lot. On the outside, it's Francour. Down the sideline. And he is cut down at the 20-yard line. And that is one of the great athletes in the state. Clint Kent makes the tackle. But, Bo, we talk about Jeff Francour. He doesn't catch a lot of passes. Look at that play.
Unbelievable, Steak. Jeff Francour, as you said, one of the best athletes in the state. He wears number 12 for Jeremy Myers, who was on this squad when they won the state championship in 1997. Here he is, and just look how rangy he is. He looks just like Jeremy Myers, the free safety and 2-year starter for Georgia Tech. Wanted to wear number 12 like he now has 12 interceptions to surpass Jeremy Myers, and you see what he does on the offensive side of the ball. You were talking about him being a two-way player. Tough to keep an athlete like that off the field.
Huge play for Francour on 3rd and 5. They're at the Westside Macon 20-yard line. 1st and 10. Salmons on the outside to Dawkins. Dawkins got daylight. He's at the 10, the 5, and he has lost the football at the 3-yard line. And it's a 1st down. It is knocked away by Dorian Freeman, the senior. But again, great blocking on the outside and great speed by Sean Dawkins.
Well, I would like to know what Cecil Flo calls that formation. You could call it jumbo, you could call it tight. He's got 2 tight ends, and look, he pulls the guard, and he's got the tight end on 1 defender out there, and a lot of speed there to save the touchdown.
Yeah, Dorian Freeman doing a great job stripping that football ball, but goes right out of bounds. It's 1st and goal from the 3. Parkview knocking on the door. Salmons, no keep, straight ahead. He's in, it looks like.
No, just stopped him short.
To the naked eye up here in the Georgia Dome, it looked like he may have got in, but he is right on the 1-inch line, Bo, as they just run Salmons off tackle.
I may be crazy, but I think Parkview's got 12 men on the field.
It looked like it on that line, but...
It looked like it on the play before. And even now with the one coming out, I think they've got 12 on the field.
Bo, they got 12 players on the field. You got to do some counting.
Yep.
Andrew Morgan jumped for Westside Macon.
Yeah, they have 12 players on the field, and they had on that big run when they got down to the 3, they also had 12.
They got 12 players in the huddle right now.
Dead ball foul. Encroachment on the defense. Half the distance of the goal. Repeat the down.
Still have 12 on the field.
Second and goal, 6:35 to go. Again, flag down on the play. Let's see what the call is.
I may be going crazy.
You know what, Mr.
I've counted it 4 times.
You know what? I think you've been doing too many games over the years.
Encroachment on the defense. Half the distance of the goal.
Oh,
Repeat the down.
It's a double tight end formation.
I understand.
And it looks like they got more guys in the line, but 6:30 to go. Parkview ready to punch it in. Literally on the half-inch line. Salmons straight ahead. Touchdown. Parkview. Clint Salmons straight ahead, and Parkview using Jeremy Francour, their biggest weapon, to bust down the sidelines on a 3rd and 5, and then they use Clint Salmons to just bust it home. Greg Johnson will kick. Westside Macon.
Westside Macon may have to come out and throw. Now, they don't want to play Parkview from behind. They have to keep pace with these Panthers.
Well, they've only had 1 possession. It was a 3 and out. And this drive has covered 80 yards. And it's good. So Parkview takes the football and uses a huge catch by Francour. And then Salmons just goes right over, literally at the half-inch yard line. Getting great blocking up front there from his offensive line. Spellman just crunching the nose tackle up front.
Salmons is an all-star catcher, played in the junior Georgia team in baseball. He's signed a scholarship to go to the University of Georgia. Last year as a catcher, he threw out 19 of 22 base stealers. After a while, nobody would attempt against him, and the only way they could move a runner is to bunt him over.
That's an amazing percentage, Bo, for a catcher, 19 and 22, especially at the high school level. Greg Johnson will kick off to Westside Macon. 7-0 early, 6:15 to go here. Quarter number 1. Powerful Parkview undefeated on top. George Presley is back as a return man for Westside Macon. Live at the Georgia Dome, the 5A semifinal, Steak Shapiro and Bo Bach on a Saturday evening in downtown Atlanta, finding out who's going to the state championship game. And Parkview will kick off. And they're across the 10 to the 12, and it's Dorian Freeman, defensive back, out to the 23-yard line. So Westside Macon really, Bo, stay within themselves. As I said, talking to Coach Davis earlier, one of the things he said is it's going to be very difficult to run the football against Parkview. I mean, up front, they bring back guys, they're experienced, they're very physical. Parkview won their first 2 games this year, Bo, by virtue of no offensive touchdowns. Right. Francour had a big pickoff in return for a touchdown, and they grinded another one out. So they had struggled offensively. Defensively, they're terrific. On the outside, across the 25 and out to the 30. George Presley at 35-40, knocked out of bounds. And very close to being a late hit at the 42-yard line. But they get George Presley with some space, and that's what we talked about. Stewart, the fullback, and Presley, the outside guy.
They're going to have to get to the corner, and Presley's the guy who can do that. He's 5'7", 180 pounds, and he runs a 4.5 40. He looked even quicker than that. He's very quick, makes great cuts.
Looks a little like Warwick Dunn the way he got around that end there. 1st and 10, 43-yard line. Westside making a big first down run there by Presley. The handoff is straight ahead, about a 7-yard hammer by Antoine Stewart, the fullback. And now some good work up front. Cole Brantley and Chris Eason and Brad Lord on that offensive line. Todd Stewart, the junior linebacker, in on the hit.
Antoine Stewart, he's the banger. He's 6 feet, 200 pounds, and he ran for over 1,200 yards this year.
Tony Mathis obviously pleased with the last couple of carries. That goes for 6 yards, 2nd and 4, but they're starting to move the football offensively. The handoff is straight ahead to Stewart. Stewart is across the 48 near the 47. Looks like it's very close to a first down ball, and a key time for Westside Macon to start moving the ball.
Wait until you see these guys break the huddle. You know, they just have the look of a well-coached football team. They break the huddle and rush to the line of scrimmage, and they look like they mean business. You like to see a team that comes out of the huddle crisp like that and ready to go.
Zeb McKenzie went on the tackle again. Hard to believe this kid is a sophomore. 3rd and 1. Tony Mathis. Look for Stewart here, maybe straight ahead, or Mathis himself, who can really run the football. Tony Mathis, again, only a junior. The 2 running backs, both 1,000-yard rushers, though Stewart and Presley, they're seniors. They give it straight ahead, a dive for Stewart, and he is very close. I do not think that he got it.
I don't think he did either. That was a great tackle. Tried to go over the top, and he was met right in midair.
Well, but what do you do here?
Well, I think you've got to punt. You try to pin them, Steak.
Look at that penetration there. Great sticks up front. Look like Todd Stewart doing his own dive to meet Antoine Stewart. They're going to measure. 7-0 Parkview, 4:29 to go, first quarter of the 5A semifinal championship games here in Atlanta. First down. Shows what we know.
No, back and the whole thing, what they've got to do is sustain these drives and try to keep the ball away from that Parkview offense. I
think we've learned 2 things important here in this first quarter. First thing is Westside Macon's offensive line starting to show some of their stoutness. The second thing is that you need a better bifocals, my man.
I may be right.
1st and 10 from the 47. They hand off it to Presley. He's cut down. Great hit in the backfield. Justin Albreton, the strong safety, the senior, coming up and making that hit. They try to get space outside. Doesn't happen.
They're going to have to run outside. They can't run inside, and they're going to have to stick with the game plan.
Well,
but they may be ripe right now for a little play action. They've got to put the ball up sometime.
Well, play action here, Bo, on 2nd 11.
Is Coach Jerry Stewart, the Parkview defensive coordinator. He's been in the business about 30 years himself.
Hand out again, straight ahead. 7 yards, George Presley, maybe 6, but now makes it more respectable on 3rd down here. Clock continues to move. Zeb McKenzie. I hate the thought of getting one of these names wrong and having some kid keep his tape and having to hear us get his pronunciation wrong.
I'm waiting for you to get one right.
You better watch yourself, buddy. 3rd and 6. Big play early on here. 3:07 to go. Ball's on the 43-yard line of Parkview. Tony Mathis under center. 2 backs behind now. In motion, Presley. They're going to throw. Looking downfield.
Oh! And coming the other way. That's Francour. He's at the 35, the 30. He's down to the 10. Oh, man, is this kid a player? Wow. Tony Mathis knocks him out of bounds.
That's number 13 on the year for Francour. 57 yards on the interception return for Jeff Francour. Look at him drive on the ball.
They read it all the way. They go right at Jeremy Francour. I mean, Bo, I understand he's a 2-way player. Maybe you want to test it, but that's the best player on the field, and you've allowed him now to control the whole first quarter and put Parkview in a position right now to really put Westside Macon up against him.
Yeah, he's a great athlete. He also hits .402 in baseball. Last year is a Gwinnett County home run record with 15. He's a great golfer, great basketball player, even though he doesn't play for Parkview.
Won't play for Parkview, be in the starting lineup. This is one of the best athletes Georgia's seen in a while. Parkview calls a timeout. Bo, Jeff Francour, and again, I talked to Coach Davis about it before the game. One of the things he said is, we can't pull a Deion Sanders and throw away from Jeremy Francour. We have to be ready to attack him and
Jeff
and make him
work. They also move him around the field.
Well, Jeff right there just read that ball. I mean,
he baited him. He baited Tony Mathis. He laid off the receiver as if he was not in the play. and saw him crank it and just made a drive on the ball and picked it off. There's Coach Robert Davis, and Brent Brock in back of him as offensive coordinator.
The speed on Francour, just unbelievable.
Yeah, just,
you know, in a game like this, the expression is don't let this guy beat you. And in Jeff Francour, clearly the most impressive athlete on the field, and so far that has not worked for Coach Davis. Francour has been sensational. First and goal at the 6. Westside Macon can use a stop. The pitch is outside Dawkins, and he's down to about the 3. Sean Dawkins in front of that offensive line. Brad Fleming and Willie Sutter. 2:35 to go. Ball. Really tough spot for Westside Macon. Westside Macon runs a 50 defense. They'll zone, they'll min, they'll blitz, they'll do anything they have to do. Right now, they just have to get in the gaps. They have to get lower than Parkview. They have to get the pads under them, and don't give them any quarter down here because you don't want to go down 14-0 to this bunch. Second and goal. Play action here would probably really work, especially if you look for a tight end. Clint Salmons under center. Takes the handoff, he'll keep it, gets down to about the half-yard line. And again, running over that left side, Brad Fleming, Greg Spellman. Good penetration. Hit Derek Davis, the junior, with a hit on the play. 1:49 to go. We're third and goal at the 1. Tough with a guy like Salmons, Bo. Now you want to root him out of here and just give the ball to Sean Dawkins and try to power it in. I wouldn't be surprised to see Salmon just keep it, Bo. You're almost in the same part of the field you were a few minutes ago. Clint Salmon's a big, strong kid. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns on the year, 7 if you include today. And he'll keep it, and he'll try to go over, and they'll give it to him. Touchdown, Parkview. Clint Salmon's taking care of business. Jeff Francour doing the same. Well, it's been all Francour so far with the big catch and run, and then the interception return for 57 yards. They get that initial surge. Fleming and Spellman doing a great job. Greg Johnson will come in for the extra point, but talking about being up against it now for Westside Macon, Bo, down 14-0, the Cinderella story as we get closer to midnight. Doesn't look like many glass slippers around the Georgia Dome right now. 14-0 Parkview. Well, now it's time to pull out all the stops. You've got to start throwing the football. Tony Mathis has a very good-looking arm, throws a good ball, tight spiral. Bo, you're only in the first quarter. Why do you want to put yourself in a position where you start throwing the football all over the field? Clearly, Jeff Francour can terrorize you back there. I mean, the one thing is you have a sustained drive and take up some time, even if you only get 3 out of it. Let's take a look at this pick again, because this is the key play of the game so far. So Tony Mathis drops back. He's looking to his right side. He telegraphs it. He's looking right at his intended receiver. And as you saw, Francour just laid off him, laid back there, and too far for the ball to be in the air for Francour not to make a play on that ball. Marlon White is who he was looking for, the sophomore wideout. And Francour had a great sense, almost like they knew on film where they like to go in that third down situation, because Francour was sitting waiting. George Presley back. Greg Johnson will kick for Parkview. The Panthers, an impressive looking bunch. That's a great kick. And they'll go into the end zone. So. And now a Quad A semifinal flashback. The state championship game was played at the Big Orange Jungle, where Parkview defeated the Blue Devils of Tippah County 21-7.
Quad A semifinal, Colquitt County and Parkview. Jeremy Myers picked off 4 Reggie Stansel passes, 3 in the end zone. It was one of the best individual performances ever in the state playoffs. If that wasn't enough, Myers then caught a TD pass in overtime to give the Panthers a 14-7 win against the Packers.
Well, you talk about Jeremy Myers, Bo. Jeff Francour's writing his own flashback that we may be watching a few years from now with the night that he has had so far. Well, we've talked about Jeremy Myers, and he looks like him. He's, same posture.
Dead ball foul. false start on the offense. Still first down.
Wiry, gangly, raw-boned kid all over the field making plays.
1st and 15. Westside Macon tries to get something going. They'll hand off to Presley. Gets about 5 of it back. George Presley showing a burst of speed. 1,000-yard rusher for the season for Westside Macon. Scoring drive was 3 plays. That's what happens when you get it down to the 6. Took a minute 22 to run all 3. Clint Salmons goes over from the 1.5-yard line, his 2nd touchdown of the day, and it's 14-0 is what we have to lead. Straight ahead, Antoine Stewart out to the 28-yard line. But I really don't think Coach Davis is going to feel comfortable throwing the football right now in this situation. What you want to do is try to settle your kids down. They're probably a little shell-shocked right now at the way right out of the gate they're down 14-0. And, you know, the last thing they need is another turnover going the other way.
Yeah, you're probably right. And especially down here in minus territory, you want to get it out of here so you can open up your playbook.
20 seconds left. This could be the last play of the first quarter on a Saturday night, the 5A semifinal. They fake the handoff, they'll roll left. Looking downfield in trouble. He'll take off, and no. It's not going to happen for Tony Mathis. Not with the sophomore Todd Brooks making a play. And again, the passing game, not much there. That Parkview secondary is ferocious. One of the best defenses in the state of Georgia. And that is really going to be the story.
It's a learning process. Tony Mathis, only a junior, and that time he made a good decision. He wanted to go on the out cut to his left side, looked over there. There was coverage there. He pulled the ball down and tried to make what he could.
First quarter has ended. What started out promising for Westside Macon has taken a turn. Parkview looking to go to the state finals. Hook up with Harrington. It's going well now. 14-0. We'll come back for second quarter. Beautiful downtown Atlanta, Georgia on a Saturday evening in the fall. It's been real beautiful for Parkview so far.
Been a buggy ride for Parkview.
Christmas lights are out. Great time of year to be in downtown Atlanta, especially if you're lucky enough to be inside the Georgia Dome, just a few blocks away from Centennial Park, where Coach Cecil Flo tries to make it a 14-0 season. A 3rd and 4 to go right here.
4th down.
Or 4th down and 3, I should say, as they will punt away. T.J. Hudson doing the punting, I'm sorry. And Parkview getting the football back in a short kick. Fair caught by Francour at the 39. And the last thing you want to do, Bo, is be kicking to him.
Yeah. Francour, is there anything else he can do? Maybe load up the bus tonight. Parkview will try to get their running game going now.
Very underside Westside Macon. You know, a lot of what they do is on emotion, and coming out down 14-0. That has to throw him for a loop, certainly. Clint Salmons under center here. 2 backs behind him. He'll give straight ahead to Dawkins, and Dawkins pounds his way out across the 48 to the 49-yard line. Charlie Richardson, the senior, on the hip.
Yeah, just about a 10-yard gain. And look at the blocking on the right side. They seal that side. I think that the west side was slanting to the right, and they just had the right play call against a bad defensive call.
Tommy Levengood doing a good job getting himself downfield in Parkview. The Parkview offensive and defensive line, Bo, probably their greatest advantage, and has been all season. You know, the 1997 state championship team just a few years away, and they graduated a lot of guys from last year's team. But where they brought the most back was on the offensive and defensive front, and that has shown tonight, and it's shown all season long. 2nd and 1, Salmons. Not a bad time to go play action. And they do that. Salmons looking downfield. He's feeling the pressure. He lets it go, looking for Francour. Oh! Deflected away. Interference call in the secondary. Clint Kent has been involved in a number of plays early, Bo.
Yeah, he has, and tried to make a play on that ball, but you saw Francour was able to get behind him. Lots of time here for Salmons to throw the football, and he throws a nice ball. and just a little bit too early.
Well, he got hit pretty good, Bo. I mean, he got whacked as he threw it, and he could not have thrown it any better. I mean, in stride, Francour breaking downfield in a desperate situation. Westside making with the interference call, but a very impressive combination. Really looked like 1A athletes, Clint Sammons and Jeff Francour, and we got a penalty. Where are we going now? Calling that offensive?
We have an ineligible downfield on the offense. We have defensive pass interference, decline.
Replay the down.
We'll do 2nd and 1 again, it looks like. But the surprise of a fake handoff up the gut and going to Francour deep has been lost.
That was a good call on 2nd and 1. That was the battery mate, Sammons to Francour.
Second and 1. Samuels will roll. Look downfield, feeling the pressure. He gets out of it somehow, and then he gets hammered. And that's maybe the best athlete on the field, Jeremy Talton, the senior linebacker, and he delivers a whack, and that's the kid, Bo, they said they wanted running after Jeff Francour all night. Let's look at the replay. Sammons in big trouble here, finds a way to get out of it, and then all of a sudden, Talton delivers a major blow. Lucky to hold on to the football is Sammons.
Talton's their leading tackler with 115 tackles, 18 for a loss. He's got 4 sacks. That's his 5th sack. He's 5'11", 210 pounds. And he's a senior linebacker.
He's yeah, he's Robert Davis's favorite player on defense in terms of athleticism. I talked with him about Talton before the game, and he thinks Talton's the guy that can run with Francour. And so far, that hasn't exactly happened. 3rd and 9, though. Parkview, it is a 2nd and 1. It's an 8-yard loss. Sammons out of the shotgun, back to pass. Looking downfield and breaking free just for a moment. Kirk Alexander, the tight end, the senior, and he overthrows him. And a big bullet dodged by Westside Macon.
Yeah, Kirk Alexander is their big tight end. He's 6'3", 220. He's got 27 receptions this year for 12.3 yards per catch.
Greg Johnson will kick away. Dorian Freeman, the senior, will return. Westside Macon trailing 14-0, 9:53 to go. The 5A semifinal game here at the Georgia Dome on a Saturday night. It's a bad snap, and they come after it, and he gets it off. Freeman takes a bounce at the 25, goes down to the 23, and Bo, that bounce took a nice little AstroTurf hop.
It sure did, but I don't know how Westside missed that.
I thought they had 4 guys surrounded. I don't know how they either didn't get the football ball or they didn't have a roughing. Let's take a look at the replay.
Here it is right here. Bad snap from center.
Like a good third baseman, he picks it up.
Oh, he just flew right by it. And luckily he didn't catch his leg.
That's amazing. He was almost there too early, Bo, no?
Yes, he was.
I mean, he went right past the football. Boy, that hurts Westside Macon. That really hurts.
James Rouse.
Tony Mathis tries to get things going. The handoff is on the outside there, across the 25, out to the 30, and cut down there. Travis Evans out to the 32-yard line. Bo, he's a freshman. How about getting him?
Well, this is another one of those just 3-year-old programs, just like Stars Mill last night. Coach Robert Davis has done a great job with these guys. Only their 3rd varsity season, and here they are in the state semifinal playoffs. This is the deepest that Macon Public School has gone in the playoffs in 25 years.
2nd and 2, ball on the 32-yard line. The handoff is straight ahead. Antoine Stewart, and he has got the first down. So if anything has gone right tonight, Bo, it's some of the surge they've gotten from the offensive line.
It's really amazing against that bigger Parkview squad. Look how big they look. I don't know if it's the white uniforms there. We're looking at Westside Macon right there, but they just look so much bigger on the field. Antoine Stewart, 1,200 yards this year, 5.3 yards per carry, and he really churns. He keeps those legs moving.
1st and 10. The handoff again is Stewart across the 42 to 43. Gain of about 6 yards on the play, 8:43 to go, 2nd quarter.
See what I'm talking about? Those white uniforms, Steak, they look big, but also they look multiple. In other words, they look like there's another man on the field.
Yeah. I worked with a guy once.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy mixed up guy who I was convinced for about 3 plays there was an extra man on the field.
It's the uniform.
That's got to be the uniform.
It's that Bronco-style uniform.
Whatever you want to go with to get out of this one, go right ahead. 2nd and 4, ball on the 43-yard line, 8:15 to go. The handoff is to Presley. Presley tries to get outside here and is cut down. Great speed.
Great quickness.
By Parkview coming and making that tackle. Joey Sturdivant, a sophomore.
Just a great move to avoid the loss. Watch this right here. Outside, cuts it back inside, hits the seam, then makes another cut outside. What a talented runner he is.
Never heard a guy get so much credit for a 1-yard run.
Over 1,100 yards this year, 6.3 yards per carry for George Presley.
And they go with a quick snap. They're right at the line. They pitch outside, try to get a first down, and they have got it, it looks like, out to the 48-yard line. George Presley again, Bo. Pretty simple formula. If they're going outside, it's Presley. If they're going between the tackles, most of the time it's going to be Antoine Stewart. Austin Ogletree with a hit. Ogletree, you remember, also carries the football for Parkview. First down, Westside Macon, 7:33 to go. Parkview leading Westside Macon 14-0. I'm Steak Shapiro with Bo Bach of Sports Talk 790 The Zone here in Atlanta. Watching the 5A semifinal matchup. The winner plays in the state finals against Harrington. Harrison. I'm thinking of Al Harrington. I'm watching too much NBA.
Harrington was, I think, a character on Ally McBeal.
The carry straight ahead for 5 yards. Antoine Stewart. It's real simple, Bo. They're not going to get too creative right now. They're going to run Stewart, and they're going to run Presley. Both these guys are 1,000-yard rushes, and they're going to try to get back in this football game.
Well, you know, based on their last series, I think Tony Mathis really started to see some things that he was not seeing earlier. And, you know, you get kids in this dome, seeing it for the first time, quarterbacking this squad, you know, for the first time this year. Tony Mathis was a little too antsy, didn't take his time, wasn't patient, didn't read the defenses. I think he might have learned something in this game. His fumble, it's on the ground.
Mathis looks like he got it. Big break. And it'll set up about a 3rd and 6. Mathis and Stewart say, how do you do to each other? The ball ends up on the carpet. And it'll set up a 3rd and 7. Tough there, Bo, when you're driving, moving the football the way they were.
See, right here, it was just a, actually, Antoine Stewart, I think, forgot the play, ran a different play.
Tony Mathis, Bo, now maybe putting himself in a position where he has to throw the football and has not had any success. I don't believe he has a completion night unless you consider the one he had to Jeff Francour.
Coach Cecil Flo, his defense run by Jerry Stewart will run a 4-3. They'll come with the blitz. Here it comes from the outside. They pick it up very nicely. Oh, he's got him out there, but underthrows him.
Francour knocks it away.
Francour.
Marlon White, the sophomore, the same combination there. Again, I told you, he's not going to hesitate to go at Jeff Francour. And straight man-to-man coverage there, deep, Bo. But, you know, if you're going 30 yards downfield, you're giving Jeff Francour's time with his speed to get all the way back there. And, you know, it's almost a mirror of the flashback we just saw with Jeremy Myers, Bo. That's the kind of stuff Jeremy Myers was doing in the Dome a few years ago, right, when he was picking off passes in traffic and catching balls.
And continues to do it for Georgia Tech.
Francour will return. TJ Hudson, the kick. It's a short one. Francour, fair catch at the 20. Love to have seen him take off for that one, just to watch him with the football in his hands.
As we said, only the 3rd year of this program, Robert Davis loves coaching this club.
Oh, I am very proud of the football team. You know, we're a young school. We started from scratch, kind of like Kurt Russell did over Georgia Southern. And we have come so far. And we've matured on football-wise. We've matured in age and everything. But our kids are really, they play hard. The game's important to them. I'm just really tickled with them being here.
He's one of the good ones. 3 national titles, 3 state titles, and 2 national titles at Warner Robins before coming over to Westside.
That's like Southern Football Coach 101 right there. Casting call. Great sound.
Run up the middle, and it's a big one. Sean Dawkins sees daylight and is cut down at the 38-yard line.
So it was only a matter of time, Bo, before Sean Dawkins got off, and he did right there.
And I think we're starting to see, even this early in the game with 5:47 to go in the first half, that, you know, the dominance of the Parkview offensive line. You see it right here. Look at that hole. And guys are still flying around after being blocked. And Dawkins is able to take it. for a bundle.
Brad Fleming and Greg Spellman. You can't say enough about Spellman, the center. Man, he is crunching people right up front. James Rouse had to run him down. 1st and 10, ball now at the Westside Macon 37-yard line.
How about Sean Dawkins, 2 carries for 60 yards.
They're in motion there. It looked like, and indeed this will come back. Chance for Westside Macon to lay a stick, but this one's going to come back.
False start. They were in a power formation with 2 tights.
You got some good material for the second half there, buddy?
Don't worry about this. This Westside Macon club hasn't come this far by not having heart, guts, grit.
I'm not worried about their heart. I'm just worried that we got a close game. Shiloh, by the way, that led them last week 24-13 at the half, and they came back and exploded, throwing the football in that second half, and a number of interceptions as well.
And beat them 35-24. And that's where Tony Mathis.
Illegal motion on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It was that Shiloh game in the second half where they felt that Tony Mathis really came of age as a passer.
And again, I believe, you know, Westside Macon certainly has a shot to stay in this football game. But the reality is Parkview, a different club from Shiloh in terms of trying to get back in it. 1st and 15, ball at Westside Macon 42. Big drive here for Parkview to try to really open up some space. Give us straight ahead. Is that Joey Sturdivant, the sophomore, second string tailback, and Andrew Morgan, the junior, cuts him down.
Well, you see, they think they can run right at Westside Macon right now, and the Seminoles are going to have to get in those gaps. They maybe have to guess a little bit. They're going to have to do some stunning up there, some looping, and try to get in the gaps and disrupt them in the backfield.
2nd and 11, ball at the Westside Macon 39-yard line. Clint Salmons already has run for 2 touchdowns from the 1. We'll see what they want to do here. The little inside pitch to the fullback, and it's going to go for a bunch. Straight ahead, Kirk Alexander, the tight end, I should say. Lining up on the tight end formation, ball, and they give that little pitch shuffle pass.
Yeah, a little shuffle pass that goes very popular play out of the pro set formation.
So well orchestrated. And look at that crunching block up front there by Brad Fleming, the left guard. I mean, you want to talk about a big-time block. You can't say enough about Parkview's offensive front, really opening things up.
And bring it out and measure for this first down.
Bring out them chains.
Come on.
That's a first down for Parkview. 4:13 to go. They continue to march down the football field, and this game, Bo, really moving along at a rapid pace. At some point, Westside Macon, I think, decided that running the ball was their best chance, and they were doing great until that miscue trying to hand off the football. That killed their drive. They're not going to work in the 3rd and long, Bo, not against this secondary and not against Francour. 1st and 10, ball at the 27. Salmons under center. 1 wide receiver right. He's got a tight end in motion. They hand off to straight ahead. And again, that's Sean Dawkins, who is fighting his way down. A great little run down to about the 19-yard line. Gain about 8 on the play.
Last couple of 3 carries, they're averaging now 6-7 yards per carry on first down. You see it right here with a block downfield.
I'm surprised at you, Bo, that you're not mentioning these offensive linemen more. I thought you were all about the Bo blocks of granite.
You know, in these.
Are you relying on me to acknowledge all the great jobs?
Parkview, as a matter of fact, is the recipient of the Bo Blocks of Granite Award when Jeff Francour was our Prep Player of the Week for Waffle House just a couple of weeks ago.
Is that right? 2nd and 2, ball on the 19-yard line. In motion, Salmons now, play action pass. He'll look end zone. He's got a man, and it is knocked away. Looking for Jeff Francour, and again, some great coverage there by Clint Kent, who already has an interception on the day.
Salmons just threw it too late, Steak. He had Francour out there, and when he put it up, finally he was able to recover and make a play on the ball. Had him early.
Well, let's give
some air under the ball and a great play.
You know, Kent was pretty much there, Bo. I don't know. I mean, let's give some credit here to Kent.
Well, if you throw it early, and you drive the ball, then you can make a play on it. When you have to put the ball that much air under it, you have a chance for the secondary to recover and make a play.
I think they'll just try it. This is 2-down territory, Bo. And with that offensive line, I expect them to go straight ahead here and try to pick up the first down. Salmons now 3rd down and 2. Handoff is to Dawkins, trying to get outside. He does get the first down and a little bit more. Dorian Freeman and Charlie Richardson making the hit. And that'll set up a 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line.
Boy, they're slobber knocking down there. And I'll tell you one thing that those Parkview blocks of Granites do is they sustain their block.
Yeah, great job, Bo. And they block downfield. You know, they stay with it, like you said, and they get everybody blocking, including Francour. Salmons now. 1st and 10 of the 19. 2:30 to go, 2nd quarter. Parkview rolling over Westside Macon so far. Handoff outside, banging his way. Austin Ogletree, the two-way senior. Not much there.
That's the type of defense that David Bruce, the defensive coordinator for Westside, is familiar with, where you get a couple of 3 guys that, you know, attacking the ball carrier, and then the 4th man comes in and knocks them out.
2nd and 9, ball at the 18-yard line. Great pressure there by Westside Macon. Look for Sean Dawkins, Jeff Francour, and Clint Salmons at this point of the field. Both those are the money guys for Parkview, and they play a lot of guys, but Francour wide right now. Sean Dawkins is the lone setback. Quarterback will keep and go forward about the 16-yard line, playing it somewhat conservative. 1:29 to go on the clock. Clint Salmons, gain of about 3 on the play. Raymond Steger, the hit.
They get inside the red zone. They like to keep the ball in Salmons' hands.
Salmons a little banged up on that play.
Salmons, by the way, you know, has just been a very capable passer. He's got 16 TDs this year and only 2 interceptions.
Timeout on the field. Looks like Parkview wants to figure out what they want to do. Let's go down to Jim.
All right, thanks, guys. Single A semifinal earlier today, Commerce and Lincoln County. Monte Williams, a big day. 2 touchdown runs, scored on a 2-point conversion, and also blocked a punt. He'll play in the Single A championship game next Friday night at Commerce. They'll take on the Buford Wolves. There's your final coming up here. Tigers 17, Red Devils 14. Back to you guys in the booth.
That was a fun one early.
Yeah.
17-14. Been close games all day today. And
Coach Cecil Flo, he'd love to punch another one in with only 1:06 remaining in the first half. Neil Auer, the offensive coordinator for Parkview.
Well, interesting spot here, Bo. 3rd and 7. And a minute to go on the clock. You know, you may just go back to the basics. It's Francour and Salmons playing pitch and catch in this part of the field. Split wide receivers, one on the right, one on the left. Stewart lining up inside. Salmons back to pass. He's looking at end zone. He's in trouble. And he'll throw it away. That may be Downing. And no, they'll give him an incomplete pass. Got it close enough on the right side there. Jeremy Talton, again, Bo, the kid I told you about, just slapping it away. And a flag is down. Let's find out what happened here. No flag on the play.
Pick it up.
Greg Johnson.
28-yard field goal attempt.
This would really complete a very efficient first half for Parkview. The kid has a wonderful football, one of the best kickers that I've seen in recent high school.
Yeah, he drives the ball, States.
Big time foot. 17-0. Parkview leading Westside Macon. 2nd quarter, 55 seconds left. What do you
maybe a big run back here. Maybe that's what Westside Macon's got cooking.
Well, they got Stewart, I believe, and they got Presley back there. I know is the guy they want to get in space and create something for him.
55 seconds to go in the first half. 17-0 Parkview over Westside Macon.
Parkview going about their job very efficiently, Bo. You know, using the pieces that got him here. Craig Johnson will kick, and George Presley is deep.
They've got a lot of balance.
I think that, what they decide to do with the football when they get it right here depends on where this ball ends up. And there's a good chance it's going to end up in the end zone. Clint Kent will bring it out across the 20, and he's out the 24-yard line. And really a place where they don't want to mess around. Let's go back to Jim, see what's happening at halftime.
All right, thanks, Steak. Earlier today, the AA semifinal, Washington, Wilkes, and Cook. The star of the game, Dacus Turman, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now he needs 138 yards to break Herschel Walker's single-season rushing record of 3,167. AA championship game scheduled for next Saturday night at 7:30 at America's Tigers and the Panthers. Back to you guys.
Back to the action and going straight ahead, Antoine Stewart, not much there. They may just be content to try to go to the locker room and figure out how to attack Parkview in a different manner. That's the formula that worked last week, Bo, down 24-13. And again, a much taller task with Parkview, but
well, down here inside the 30-yard line, Steak, you certainly don't want to give up something cheap to
no, you
Parkview
can't afford
at this
to.
point.
No, you're still in this football game, and you have a great comeback capability, but you cannot afford anything to happen. The handoff is outside to Presley, and Presley just barrels ahead. They go after the football pretty good, and he is knocked down. So he takes a pretty good lick to end the first half. And an exciting one it was, particularly if you're pulling for the Parkview club that uses Jeff Francour the way these guys did. The Parkview Panthers 1 half away from taking on the Harrison Hoyas. And Westside Macon Cinderella tale may only have 24 minutes left. We'll find out what's going to happen and talk right now in a second to one of the coaches and find out his perception of what has been a very dutiful and efficient half for Parkview.
Let's go down now to Rob Tribble with Coach Cecil Flo.
Well, Coach, it seems you obviously have this team outmanned, but they did come back on Shiloh last week. How much do you make sure you let your kids know that at halftime?
It's 0-0. That's what it is. It's 0-0 going in the second half, and our kids got to play just as hard this coming up half as we just played, or we'll be in trouble. I mean, they have a long history of being a second half team, and they did that last week at Shiloh. They did that at Houston County. I mean, and you wait. You'll see that we're going to have to play real good.
Well, you've played real good in the first half. Just talk about both sides of the ball. A lot of quality there.
Yeah, it is. It's two good football teams out here right now playing. We need to keep sustaining ourselves, and we need to move on into the end zone, just drive them out of there. I think we can. We've taken care of the ball pretty well. We just go in and make a few adjustments and go second half.
All right, good luck in the second half. Well, Coach Flo's obviously smiling on the inside. He's got to feel good about his chances. Let's go back upstairs.
1 half. 1 half out of the way. Parkview leading Westside. 17-0. Jeff Francour and company looking to meet Harrison. We'll come back.
You're watching the Georgia High School Association Football Championships on GPTV.
Steak Shapiro and Bo Bach. We're live at the Georgia Dome in downtown Atlanta, Georgia, where the 5A semifinals have 1 half behind them and an opportunity to meet the Harrison Hoyas in the championship game next week. And so far, it was the Parkview Panthers early and often, Bo, leading 17-0.
And Coach Flo said going into the intermission that, the score is 0-0. That's the way they've got to approach it because of the comeback for Westside last week against Shiloh. They were down in that game, came back to beat them 35-24.
Yeah, and Bo, that's been their pattern. I mean, they're an outstanding second half team, and they don't play a lot of players both ways. They think that's an advantage in terms of stamina. They also think that you know, if they put themselves in a position where they can wear teams down and guys going both ways, that's going to help them. But Parkview's strength, Bo, is their size.
Size is just absolutely huge. They're a big high school football team. And they've, you know, quite frankly, have worn down Westside a little bit. You know, they're getting that offensive line, those blocks of granite that we talked about, have been doing just a sensational job. Guys like Alexandra, tight end, Sutter, Fleming, Spellman, Armstrong, Lovengood, and Gustafson. They just, you know, have Gustafson blocking downfield. They've just been excellent.
Let's take a look at some of the earlier action today. The single A semis, Commerce 17-0 over Lincoln County. The double A semifinals, Washington Wilkes 28-7 over Cook. They'll move on. The triple A semis, Swainsboro advances to the championship for the state of Georgia against Washington County. They win 17-0. And in the 4A, great game that finished a couple hours ago, Statesboro beats Creekside 20-12. Parkview will kick off. It'll be Greg Johnson kicking to Dorian Freeman, who is back.
You know, they're looking to start with a big run back here. They just need some kind of shot in the arm. They need something to go their way. They need to get the momentum.
George Presley also back, a fine tailback. Westside Macon looking to get something going. They will touch the ball first, trailing 17-0, and Wesley Presley will have a shot at this one. At the 10, the 15, across the 20. He's at the 30, and he's still moving. That 35 is at the 40, 42-yard line. George Presley say, get on my back. Let's start this second half.
Coach Davis loves that. He just needs something to get them going, some spark. Tony Mathis taking over at quarterback this year for the first time for Westside. You know, they thought he came alive last week in the second half against Shiloh, throwing the ball, throws it well, throws a nice ball. He's, you know, a little bit, needs a little more experience in reading defenses. When you're going against a defense like Parkview, these guys can really make a play on the ball.
Let's see what Tony Mathis has up his sleeve. Antoine Stewart and George Presley, 2,000-yard rushers in the backfield for Westside Macon that did not get it going so much, only 100 yards rushing in the first half for Westside Macon. So what they did best, really, is moving the football. But, again, miscues hurt them, including a big interception, Bo, and then a miscue in the backfield.
We've got an equipment problem here, Steak. Got to get those cleats tied.
Well,
got to lace them up.
I hear you.
Lace them up so you can pick them up and put them down.
11:52, third quarter to go. First and 10. Let's see what Westside Macon has. They start things off. Quarterback on the outside there. Gain about 2 for Tony Mathis. Todd Stewart, the linebacker, with a hit.
That's the quintessential wing tee play, which the quarterback is, you know, as deceptive as that. You're faking it to the left side. You're keeping it, bootlegging it around the right.
Tony Mathis gain of 3, 2nd and 7 from their own 45-yard line. Westside Macon trying to make a game of this, trailing powerful Parkview 17-0. The Panthers looking at a home game next weekend if they can hold on over the next 24 minutes. 2nd and 7. Mathis gives straight ahead to Stewart. Stewart plowing his way forward for the first down of the 46.
Stewart's their pounder, 6 feet, 200 pounds. 1,200 SAT for that guy, too.
Great blocking on the left side. Chris Eason, Cole Brantley, the center. Westside Macon has shown an ability to run the football. They haven't shown an ability to pass the football. Mathis to Stewart. Straight ahead for 2.
Credit Coach Davis. Westside coming out with a lot of energy, enthusiasm. They don't know they're down 17-0. They're playing this game like, you know, they're in control. That's good coaching. Is Coach Davis.
Stewart will run straight ahead. If it's on the outside, look for George Presley. 2 seniors, 2,000-yard rushers. Both in the backfield. They give us to Presley. Presley at the 40. Presley down to the 37. About a yard short of the first down. Warren Dotson with a hit.
Credit the coaching again. They've shown that formation where they changed the strength of formation from left to the right side. Last time they did that, they ran to the weak side. This time they come back to the strong side.
Third quarter, 10:30 to go. Big third down conversion here. Look for Mathis to keep. or Stewart to go straight ahead. They cannot screw around with putting this football in the air, Bo. They need first downs. Mathis, hands off. Stewart, across the 30, down to the 27. Great block on the right side by Brad Odom.
Brad Odom, Lord, and White, the wide receiver out there, also getting a downfield block. Isn't this great seeing a club come out down 17-0? This is what they made their reputation on. Second half comebacks, and to come out with this much energy and fire.
George Presley with a great block. Also, the fine tailback helping to spring his counterpart, Antoine Stewart. 1st and 10. Ball at the 28-yard line. There's a double handoff and crunch. That's not going anywhere. The freshman, Travis Evans.
That's the wing T reverse, where you give the inside handoff coming back to the other side.
Hit made by Todd Stewart. Watch Stewart here, Bo, number 16. He wasn't fooled.
See how the play blew up, though, Steak, with the penetration of Parkview.
Now, Bo, we're in the same situation we talked about in the first half. Tony Mathis has not been able to convert anything through the air. They haven't been able to get anything throwing the football downfield. And at some point, when you get in these 2nd and 3rd and long, you're going to need to do that.
Tony Mathis flanked to the right side, new quarterback.
They fake the handoff. They go outside of Presley. He's down to the 30, the 25, and 20, and knocked out of bounds. It looked like he was out earlier, but that's a first down at the 13. How about that call, Bo?
They're changing up things. Penn came in at quarterback. That's Chandler Penn, and they flanked Mathis out to the right side and then ran away from the strength of the formation.
Yeah, and it was a pure individual effort by George Presley. I mean, this is all Presley, Bo. Watch him scoot that sideline.
He's a talented runner.
Looked like he may have been out of bounds a little earlier, but again, the spot is at the 13, and we got a flag on the play, and we'll find out what this is. A killer penalty now against Westside Macon.
No, that's too bad.
Illegal procedure.
Yeah.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Tony Mathis back in the game at quarterback, and that's a killer. A real killer, and Mathis in trouble here, Bo, because if you go vertical, you know how talented that secondary is, and now Chandler Penn will be in the game, and Tony Mathis will stay in and go wide left. 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Tony Mathis is wide. The handoff straight ahead, nothing there. Antoine Stewart. So, Bo, trying to get more involved offensively. Tony Mathis now playing wideout.
See, I think what happened with that wideout in that first formation, he didn't cover the tight end, and they didn't have enough men on the line of scrimmage, and that was the procedure call.
Zeb McKenzie. You want to know what people in Gwinnett County are worried about if you don't go to Parkview? He's only a sophomore. Got to watch him for a couple more years.
Tony Mathis, by the way, has 2 receptions this year for 11 yards.
3rd and 16. Mathis looking to go downfield. Plenty of time to throw. Great pass connection down to the 14-yard line. George Presley with the catch. The best executed play through the air all night.
Yeah, and you like the way, I keep saying it, the way they come out and just trying to take charge of the second half. Look at the excellent ball that Tony Mathis throws.
Look at that time, Bo. They only rushed 3 Parkview, and it was a perfect, perfect pocket that was formed, and he just went to town there with a big completion. 1st and 10, ball at the 14. Westside making in business. The handoff fake to Presley. Mathis is cut down. A huge defensive stop by Todd Stewart, who has been dominating all night, Bo.
Todd Stewart is defensive coordinator. Jerry Stewart's son. Also, his brother is one of the coaches. Kevin coaches the wide receivers for Parkview.
Well, they just blew up that play, Bo. Absolutely blew it up for a 10-yard loss. They fake on the end to Presley and then try to get Mathis outside with actually Presley giving him a lead block.
Boy, Todd Stewart's got some closing speed, doesn't he?
This Parkview defense is unbelievable.
There's Jerry Stewart. He's proud of his son for that last play.
Looks like Jerry Sandusky from Penn State a little bit, doesn't he? 2nd and 20. What does Robert Davis have in mind here? Ball at the Parkview 24. Little option play. They'll keep it. Mathis across the 20 down to the 16. Try to get a little bit back. Set up Bo a 3rd and about 14. Todd Brooks and Joey Sturdivant on the hit.
Well, I like that play that they ran before with the completion to Presley. Maybe they can run something like that, sneak somebody out of the backfield. The middle of the field seems to be open against Parkview.
Let's see how.
You don't want to throw to the outside, to the perimeter, because you got that guy out there.
Yeah, just find Jeff Francour and he'll go away from him. That's my advice. 3rd and 13 ball at the 17. Mathis back to pass. He's in trouble. Going downfield. Great catch. And they're going to see if they give it to him.
They have.
Yes, they have. It's short of a first down. But great hands by Marlon White, the sophomore, who was victimized by Francour. And we have got a huge 4th down. Look at the play, Bo.
What a great throw on the run. And good hands. Just picked it right off the carpet.
Great arm strength. 4th and 2. The play of the day coming up. What do you do, Mr. Bach?
Well, play of the day, we've got the wing tee. You've got the option. What I would do is
take a timeout. That's what you do.
Take a timeout, and let's talk it over. Brent Brock, the offensive coordinator, played at Florida State. There's Coach Robert Davis. Brent Brock is going to talk to his troops in the huddle.
6:08 to go. Parkview leading Westside 17-0 here in the 3rd quarter. We're in the 5A semifinal championship game at the Dome. And Bo, early on in this 2nd half, Westside Macon has come out with what you like to call a playing personality.
Yeah, they really have. You know, the way
I knew you'd like that.
The way they break the huddle, and I mean, you can't be successful without a playing personality. Parkview's got one. We didn't really see it from Westside in the 1st half, but they've come out now, and they've come out with a renewed energy. And Coach obviously told them, hey guys, this is our half. You know what we've done. We've been in this situation before. They have
driven the football and moved the football a little bit tonight. It has not been total domination. I think Parkview has just taken advantage of turnovers and big plays and put themselves in position. Here comes Tony Mathis, 4th and 2. Big play early in his 2nd half. 6:08 to go. Long drive so far. Mathis looking to throw, and he doesn't make a connection. He had him, George Presley, in the flat, and Tony Mathis just did not deliver. He had time. The call was there, Bo.
Well, he ran to his left side. It's tougher to throw for a righty running to your left side. He didn't square his shoulders to the receiver, and consequently couldn't get enough on the ball.
Throwing against your body is what you're doing when you're rolling out and throwing that way. And he had more time. He almost rushed it.
It's Coach Brent Brock right now talking with Tony Mathis along with Robert Davis. See, that's exactly what he's telling him. Tell him to put it up, let him run under it. He tried to drill that.
Yeah. You want to kind of lead him to the outside there in that situation. It didn't happen. All right, first look at Parkview's offense in the 2nd half. 17-0 they lead. The handoff is straight ahead to Dawkins. Dawkins gets hammered. They're popping down there. And again, in the middle of all the action is Jeremy Talton. Kid is a senior, but is really as ferocious a hitter as we've seen really in at least in the championship games we've been watching, Bo. Number 29, Jeremy Talton.
Oh, he's been sensational for Westside, and he's their leading tackler. The whole purpose of their defense right now is try to pin Parkview.
2nd and 8, 5:31 to go, 3rd quarter. Parkview Panthers leading 17-0. They pitch outside to Dawkins, and he's cut down. Great play by the defense in the backfield right there to cut down Sean Dawkins and say, we got to get our offense the football back.
Well, you should have seen the block downfield. These guys just keep going. You can just see it on the right-hand side of your screen, about 10 yards downfield. Parkview is really an excellently coached football team.
James Roos, the corner, with a hit right there. Super job getting in the backfield. 3rd and 7. Coach Cecil Flo not happy with his first 2 plays in the 2nd half. But I'll tell you what he is happy about, Bo. That clock. 4:50 to go, 3rd quarter. 3rd and 7. 4:48 to go, 3rd quarter. Shotgun formation. Looking downfield. And that's a connection for a first down across to the 23. Joey Sturdivant, the sophomore, for the catch.
Great protection. I mean, when you have that kind of protection, you can wait, find somebody open. The Sturdivant was wide open.
just a perfectly executed play there, and really what it really does is continue to chew that clock up. Look for Sturdivant, Bo, by the way, as a sophomore, to be a big factor in the coming years as well. And he'll be catching passes from Dustin Wade, the sophomore backup quarterback. I had a chance to talk to his dad at halftime, a great fan of our radio station, 790 The Zone, and a great gentleman, a great kid who's going to be running the show. Clint Salmons, 3 of 7 so far in the game, has not had to do much except hook up with Mr. Francour. The pitch is on the outside and goes for very little. Sturdivant again getting a shot at it. It looks like it got a holding call on the play. It comes in a little late.
Comes in late, and this is what Westside needs. They're hoping it is a holding call because they really want to get field position for their second possession of this second half. They've got to get something on the board.
Well, I can't stress enough, Bo, how crucial that 4th down miscue was, because I mean, this clock, now we go back to 1st and 10, is just moving.
Well, with Parkview running the ball, no need to throw it except third and long.
Yeah, this ball's not going to be in the air much, Bo, in the second half.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
You're just tuning in and joining us at the 5A semifinal championship game here at the Georgia Dome. Steak Shapiro and Bo Bach from Atlanta Sports Leader, Sports Talk 790 The Zone, doing the games here on GPTV, and very grateful for the opportunity to call a great game last night in Stars Mill and Harrison, and a great one also tonight in Parkview and Westside Macon.
Spread the field here, Steak.
4 wide receivers, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. They'll set a man in motion. And out to Francour on the flat, and Francour is cut down about the 19-yard line or so.
Shows you the speed of that Westside defense. They had that block pretty well, but there was more people over there than they could block, and that's because of the excellent pursuit of the Westside defense, which is run by David Bruce, their defensive coordinator.
They like to run their tight end, Kirk Alexander. You know, he listed as a tight end. He plays split end. He catch a shuffle pass earlier in the game in the first half. They do a lot with him. He's a senior. Is he going anywhere, Bo, next year?
Well, he's 6'3", 220, and there's a couple of schools talking to him. Some of the small schools, the Furmans, the West Georgias, schools like that so far.
2nd and 14, 3:38 to go. Pass over the middle, connection. Looks like Sturdivant, and he could go. 40, 30, 20, and cut down at the 1. Clint Kent. But Clint Salmons says hello to a sophomore and has a big game.
I'll tell you what, that was a beautifully designed play, but you can't say enough about the throw. That throw was absolutely perfect.
In stride. Let's look at it.
Right in stride. Threw it through traffic. And can you imagine Kent's speed? Look at the closing speed that he's got, because Sturdivant's moving pretty well himself.
Sturdivant's just looking at that end zone and saying, this is it. I'm a sophomore playing for Parkview Panthers. I'm about to score 6 in the Dome. Can I say with all due respect, the throw was nice, but I mean, the catch and run was much more impressive. I mean, it looked like about a 3-yard slant to me. Timeout Parkview. And, well, we talked about a momentum crusher, obviously, not getting the 4th and 2 because you put the football back with Parkview, and that's dangerous. Here's the play again.
Right here. Great catch.
What's about speed? Athleticism. It's what Francour does. It's what Sturdivant does here. I mean, he's outrunning Westside Macon much of that
great call.
possession.
Great call against that defense because the safeties were up, and you throw it, almost like a slant to the middle of the field, which was vacated. Parkview, when you look at sophomores like that, they have Denver Bronco uniforms, but they reload like Tennessee.
No question about it. They graduated in numbers. Next week on GPTV, the finals. Statesboro Blue Devils and Shaw Raiders, 7:30, and on Saturday night, the 5A final. The Harrison Hoyas and the Parkview Panthers if they hold on, or Westside Macon if they make the big comeback. If it is Parkview and Harrison, that game is at Parkview. 1st and goal. Salmons, handoff inside, touchdown, Sean Dawkins.
Well, now you look back at that 4th down play, the pass, and how important that was, because you couldn't punch it in right there. Then your second opportunity was to pin Parkview down there in their end and get good field position about midfield as you take over for your second possession. Now your second possession is going to be down by another score.
You're 1st and 20, and you hold Francour on that little screen play to only about 4 or 5 yards, but then all of a sudden Sturdivant just busts one, and you're in deep trouble.
Man, that's the
Coach
way
Davis knows.
Yeah.
23-0. Make it 24. Coach Davis, by the way, Bo, those familiar with high school football in Georgia know of his great run at Warner.
He's a legend.
He's won 3 state titles, a couple of national titles. He's had much more talented teams than the one he brought to the Georgia Dome tonight.
And with a 3-year-old program with Westside to get deeper than any other Macon school has in the last 25 years in the playoffs is, you know, a testimony to his coaching ability.
Yeah, Westside Macon, again, a 10-3 season. They were not ranked coming into the playoffs. They had losses during the year to Warner Robins, Brookwood, and Northside, a 10-3 year, and looked like they were out of gas against Shiloh last week, I guess it was. Down 24-13. They reel off a huge second half, shut out Shiloh in the second half, and get themselves in position to go to the Dome. Here's the replay. Dawkins, great blocking on that right side, that offensive line. Huge offensive line. Kyle Armstrong and Craig Spellman doing the job.
And the lead block from Austin Ogletree, who has been sensational for them on both sides of the ball. Plays fullback and linebacker, 137 tackles from the defensive side. And when he carries the ball, he averages 5.1 yards per carry.
Drive was 6 plays, 93 yards, took 256. Dawkins goes over from 1, and Garbeck will kick away. Dorian Freeman sent to return. There he is, the sophomore who turned this football game over to Parkview in the second half. That may be the crusher, but certainly puts Westside Macon in deep trouble. 24-0. Here's the kick. 3:09 to go, third quarter. It's one of those mortars, if you will, and a fair catch called for by Mitch Mitchell.
A smart play by him to fair catch that.
I want to see him catch and run, Bo. Come on. We need something big there.
Well, when you're going backward and you're catching the ball over your shoulder, tough to reverse.
I'm surprised at you. I thought you want to see
no blockers in front of you. Your wedge is out for a coffee and bagel.
You know, the XFL, there won't be. You're not allowed to fair catch. How many guys are going to get decimated in that league? 24-0, 3:09 to go. Handoff is straight ahead. Goes for about 5 to Antoine Stewart. What do you think about that rule, Bo?
About that rule?
No fair catch.
Well, what can you say? I don't know until I see it.
What do you need to see? I mean, you know football. You're not allowed to fair catch.
They have to give them. They have to give them a halo. They have to allow the guy to catch it.
They'll give him away. I mean, if you don't give him a halo, Bo, why don't you just line him up like a blocking dummy and just hammer him? I think it's gonna be nutty. Flag down on the play.
A little too antsy. Just wanted to get that play going. They were pulling both guards to the right side.
You think the XFL has a chance?
I think it has a chance at that time of year. I think everybody's going to tune in just to see, how frozen they are playing in Soldier Field in February.
Yeah, exactly.
Dead ball foul. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Still haven't figured out the cheerleader thing. They're going to go with the most scantily clad cheerleaders and keep them with the WWF motif. Yet they're going to play it in February in outdoor stadium. So those ladies are going to get hypothermia. 2nd and 10. The handoff is straight ahead to Antoine Stewart and very little gain there.
I think it's, Tony Mathis last week against Shiloh was able to really throw in the second half. We've spoken about that. And at this point, I'm thinking maybe Coach Davis is thinking that, why make this a blowout?
Exactly.
Why chance turning this over?
Yeah, let's not embarrass ourselves here. The final score. Mathis faking outside. He's in hot pursuit. He's going to throw on the run, and he goes out of bounds. And maybe gets a late hit there. No, there's not. Good non-call by the referee. And Willis Sudderth drove him out of bounds. You want to talk about an athlete? Watch Willis Sudderth here. Drove him out. Actually, it's Greg Spellman who ran him down. Sudderth made the hit. Spellman showing good speed.
Sudduth is 6'4", 250. He's got 102 tackles, 7 sacks. Furman, South Carolina, Kentucky, looking at him right now.
And also plays on the offensive line. So
and also is their long snapper. Guy like that can play for 10 years in the National Football League as a long snapper.
4th and 11. And they will punt this football away into the dangerous arms of Jeff Francour. Not a good kick. Let's see what Francour wants to do with it. Not much. It's going to roll and take a Parkview bounce at the 42.
That was by design, just trying to positional kick. Keep it away from Francour.
1:39 to go, third quarter, 24-0 Parkview. Live at the Georgia Dome on a Saturday night in downtown Atlanta. Steak Shapiro, Bo Bach, part of the GPTV all-day marathon for 2 straight days. I got to tell you, look around this booth here. There's some people here who's been spent about 12 hours. I don't even know if they went home. It's a motley crew right now.
So land of the zombies, this booth.
We got some good information coming, by the way, in our 4th quarter. We got our ace info guy behind us here. Some tails to weave. Clint Salmons under center. 24-0. They hand off straight ahead to Brad Lester, the freshman. You know what's going to happen now, Bo? Some young men are going to get their first chance to carry the ball in the Georgia Dome, including perhaps quarterback Dustin Wade. And talking to his dad at halftime, his hope was obviously maybe there's a chance to get some other guys involved.
Yeah, just to see some of the youngsters get in here. That's what you can do when you have depth on the program like this. Westside with a little different defensive look there. They give you a 4-3 look. They're a base 50 defense.
Brad Lester, by the way, Bo, the kid who just carried the ball, the freshman, may be the fastest player, if you can believe that, on the Parkview Panthers club.
Wow.
2nd and 3, ball on the 49-yard line of Parkview. They lead 24-0, 50 seconds to go, quarter number 3. The pitch is outside. It goes to Lester. Lester trying to get through a hole there and is down about the 48, and he's very close to a first down as the clock continues to move. James Rouse with the tackle.
You can see how lickety-split quick he is. So he had the move to the inside, thought he had the seam. It closed quickly, and he bounced it outside.
That's just not fair, Bo. I mean, that is just not fair to have this kid being one of the fastest on the team. He's a freshman. Let me get that straight. That means he's a 9th grader? Wow. Not to mention Joey Sturdivant, who's a sophomore, who also has got another couple of years to do what he did earlier this quarter, which is basically outrun the opposition, something Parkview is very good at. I would think, Bo, both coaches probably in the same mentality of wanting to move this game along in terms of the 4th quarter and running the football.
In the left part of your screen there, that's Neil Howard, took over for Robert Bell as offensive coordinator of this club. It's his first year. Robert Bell went to Berkmar as their head football coach.
We saw Robert Davis, too, trying to figure out what to do with his opponent. That's it for the 3rd quarter after the handoff straight ahead, a gain of about 2 yards to C.J. Thomas, and a couple of guys getting carries now that ordinarily do not get as many, and we may see more of that in the 4th quarter. I'll tell you what we'll see in the 4th quarter. One of the great teams in the state of Georgia get themselves set for a home game. Watching the Parkview Panthers take it to the house, 24-0. We'll come back.
You're watching the Georgia High School Association Football Championships on GPTV.
Steak Shapiro, Bo Bach back here at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Start of quarter number 4. The Parkview Panthers leading the Westside Macon Seminoles 24-0. Bo, and it has been a story of a dominant football program continuing to dominate a team that came in with a Cinderella story in its their 3rd year as a varsity football team, Bo, and they're getting taught a lesson tonight.
You can't take anything away from what the Seminoles have done this year. And over the last 3 years, only the 3rd varsity season of this program. This has been a sensational run.
Second and 8, ball on the 46-yard line of Westside Macon. Clint Salmons under center, and he'll hand off to Sean Dawkins, who's cut down at the 45. Clint Salmons, the senior quarterback for Parkside, outstanding athlete, 2 rushing touchdowns. Flag on the play. 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. But Clint Salmons is going to Georgia, but he's going as a baseball player, one of the great catchers in the state. Threw out 19 of 22 runners last year, and he will be a part of that ever-building baseball program at Georgia.
And Francour may be a baseball player himself when he's a senior next year in the shotgun right now. But Francour hit .402 last year, had 15 home runs, which was the Gwinnett County record.
Looking downfield, Salmons, a cannon arm. Oh, and a great catch on the sideline. Oh, that's big time. That's Jeff Francour. You want to watch a big-time play, Mr. Bach? How about Clint Salmons and Jeff Francour right there?
Well, there's a battery mates in baseball, almost. Actually, Francour plays the outfield.
Look at that gun, though, Bo. Look at this cannon.
And look at the catch. It looks like Chris Carter on the sideline.
I mean, it does not get any better than that. Holy smokes.
They talk about his arm in baseball throughout 19 of 22 would-be base stealers.
That's just so big time right there. 1st and 10 ball at the 31-yard line of Westside Macon. They'll continue to move the ball. They won't throw it unless it's 3rd down, I would not imagine. The handoff is straight ahead to Sean Dawkins, and he busts his way through a hole and fighting down to the 24-yard line. Gain of about 7 on the play.
Right side of that Parkview offensive line is Armstrong and Levergood. Opening holes, the right side. They've been running right quite a bit.
I still can't get over that Salmons to Francour pitch and catch. That was something. He's throwing an out ball and he's rolling a little bit to the left side. I mean, he threw that ball probably 30 yards.
How about Sean Dawkins? 7.6 yards per carry, 114 yards, 17 carries.
2nd and 4 ball on the 25. Parkview continuing to roll. They give it up the middle to Dawkins. He is cut down short of the 1st down. It'll be about 3rd and 3.
Well, basically, you want Westside Macon just to hold their head up, make a play, get on the scoreboard, get that bagel off that board. Go into spring ball feeling exceptional about yourself.
That Francour family, boy, you were talking, Francour, you were talking about what an athlete he is. His sister played basketball at Oglethorpe. His mom ran track at Vandy. His dad played soccer and golf for Vanderbilt. And his brother played football for Gardner-Webb. That's called good genes, among other things. 3rd and 4 out of the shotgun. They fake the handoff. They'll look downfield across the body there. And
smart play by Salmons, just threw it away. Great coverage by the Seminoles.
So we're going to get another look at one of the best foots in the game. What are we doing here?
Here's a good look at Salmons.
This is Greg Johnson. Greg Johnson, by the way, they had a Parkview Panther Jamboree. He hit a 58-yard field goal at the Jamboree, so he's got the leg for it. And look at that, baby. Oh, he hammered it.
Holy cow.
He hammered that.
42 yards.
39 yards.
39.
Ball would have been good from that kick would have been good from I don't know where, but deep. Hard to believe some of these kids are high school players, but look at the foot on this. How much is he clearing that by?
Well, that would have been good from 50.
You know, Morton Anderson is getting a little long in the tooth at times, Mr. Bach. That left foot of his.
Well, don't give Dan Reeves any ideas the way he drafts. We could go into the high schools.
Taking an opportunity in this high school broadcast, Mr. Bach, to lay out your Atlanta sports agenda, if you will. Come on. Next thing you know, we're going to get a dissertation on Bobby Cox. Please tell me that's not coming.
No. Both of these teams play with great heart.
27-0. Parkview leading Westside. Westside Macon has had an incredible run here. A 10-3 season, unranked in the playoffs. And they rolled in here full of confidence with a coach who has been here before, but they ran into the dynasty that's the Parkview Panthers program, and they have gotten stomped.
Come on, Seminoles, get yourself a rundown.
Across the 25, outside of the 30. What an individual play here. Out to the 40, and that's battling Clint Kent, who has been involved a lot today, Bo. Really makes a nice run there.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Parkview special teams. We have talked about their kicking game, but that kicking game is absolutely superb because they've been able to positional kickoff. You know, they've been able to pin people on the sideline. Luckily, somehow, Westside Macon has been able to get something out of it. 2 long returns after 2 great kickoffs.
Parkview scoring drive, 9 plays, 33 yards, took 4 minutes and 28 seconds. And Johnson hammered a 42-yard field goal. Chandler Penn in at quarterback. And they'll hand off straight ahead to George Presley, who is cut down. By the way, what is Gardner Webb? You familiar with that school?
Sure. That's where John Drew played basketball.
What league are they in? Gardner Webb. I'm not familiar with it.
Well, you obviously don't remember Bucky Pope, the Catawba Claw.
No, I know John Drew, though. 2nd and 8 ball at the 44-yard line of Westside. Looking downfield. Oh, great connection over the middle down to the 37 of Parkview. It's Dexter Howard. He is a good-looking sophomore wide receiver and a nice combination of Chandler Penn to Dexter Howard. Let's take a look at it.
A lot of poise here from Chandler Penn. Knew exactly where he was going with the ball, and it's a very accurate throw, tight spiral. What year is Chandler Penn?
He's a senior. Tony Mathis will be back next year as the starter. Chandler Penn getting a chance in his final game as a quarterback.
Tony Mathis, a couple of catches on the year. He split to the left side.
We don't want to see a shutout. We're looking for points here.
That's a false start. Every time they get something going, it's just something that sets them back, takes their momentum away.
Bites them. Tony Mathis, a great athlete, as evident by the fact he's playing wide receiver right now.
Dead ball, false start on the offense.
You see it right here on the right side, number 75.
Hello. Trying to get to that post-game spread a little early. Jumping off sides. 1st and 15.
No, he's not trying to get to the post-game spread. He doesn't want to, you know, saw the kids last night coming off the field in tears. I mean, they put so much emotion into this game.
Tony Mathis on the catch and some good tackling by Parkview. Warren Dawson laying a lick.
Well, Dawson closed on that so quickly. Mathis didn't have a chance on that.
7:40 to go. Westside Macon trying to get off the schneid, get in the end zone here. Get somebody a touchdown in the Georgia Dome would be a big throw. Bacon's been here before, though. They had a game here earlier this season. They had a matchup in the Georgia Dome.
They played in the Corky Kell Kickoff Classic.
Back to path, Mathis. Flushed out of the pocket. He'll roll right in hot pursuit, Parkview. And Mathis lets it go, and it's deflected. Man, did he take a lick. Tough kid over there. Getting hammered by Todd Stewart. Looking for Clint Kent, who's in at wide receiver. We've talked about Parkview special teams tonight, Bo. Impressive bunch. They have a message in their field house back at Parkview. Special teams may win the game for us, but don't let special teams lose the game for us.
Words to live by.
Yes, indeed. This will be the first shutout of the Dome this year, Bo. Here's the life of a handheld camera guy. Look at him on the sideline here. Watch him. Oh! GPTV guy getting in the mix and kept him. Tracy. Look at Tracy, Bo.
Way to go, Trace.
Kept his balance, too. He took the hit, kept his feet.
Tracy is Parkview's 12th man.
Forward pass on the offense, 5-yard penalty, and a loss of down.
Second and 15.
There's Tracy. Tracy bounces right back. He's a warrior.
He's a sophomore, Tracy, and he's going to be going to Clemson next year.
Past the line of scrimmage when he threw that ball.
That is not allowed, even when you're trailing 27-0. Third and 15 here. Mathis back under center, trying to get a first down here and move the chains. Haven't had much success in third and long today. Mathis are going to go back around across the field. He's going to take off it. Across the 35 to the 30 to 25 down to the 20. Tony Mathis. One of the first times that I could get his athleticism going.
I think we might have a face mask down there.
We have a fumble on the hit, and Westside Macon will turn it over. Todd Brooks looked like he recovered it. Flag down on the play. Let's see what we have here. They want to go back, Bo. I think it was a halfback option, even they wanted to even attempt. Oh, great strip. Joey Sturdivant recovers, Bo, the free safety. You remember that name?
Oh, how can you forget that name?
He's had a big offensive play in this second half, Bo.
Old New York Yankee baseball name, Tom Sturdivant.
6:52 to go. The handoff is to C.J. Thomas, the senior.
C.J. Thomas in for Sean Dawkins.
Shermonta Mitchell, a strong safety, making the tackle. Clint Salmons still in the game. 6:29 to go. Fourth quarter, Parkview leading Westside 27-0. Thanks for watching us tonight on GPTV around the state of Georgia. Don't forget, next Friday and Saturday night, more high school football championships. 2nd and 4.
Either encroachment or a false start. I think it was encroachment. And I think Coach Flo, if they get into plus territory, will probably empty his bench.
Bo, is it too early to start thinking about how these two clubs, Harrison and Parkview, will match up with each other?
I think that's going to be a great game.
Dead ball foul, encroachment on the defense, first down.
You know, Parkview lost to, or rather Harrison lost to Parkview in the Corky Kell Kickoff Classic. And we've got a new quarterback in there now.
Dustin Wade. Dustin Wade, the sophomore. He'll have the reins next year, and he finds himself playing under center at the Georgia Dome tonight. What a great thrill. And he hands off, and he does it nicely. C.J. Thomas, the carry.
I started to say they lost to Parkview by 1 point in overtime, and that was based on penetration after 2 5-minute overtimes.
Parkview feels it was their worst game of the year. They didn't come to play. They didn't play well. They think that at home they should be able to have a very good chance of capturing a state title against Harrison. But they're going to have to deal with the kid we saw last night, Jonathan Walker, and, of course, Brian Green. That offense, Brian Green at quarterback and Jonathan Walker at tailback, Bo, was explosive.
Well, Jonathan Walker is the quickest back that we've seen in 2 nights of play.
2nd and 6, ball on the 37-yard line. Parkside leading 27-0. Parkview leading 27-0. And they give straight ahead to C.J. Thomas, who goes for the first down. It's the size, Bo, that really was where everybody was undermanned against Parkview, and the athleticism. And they got guys playing both ways, Bo. And although Coach Davis thought that would be an advantage for his club, the fact they don't play guys both ways. I mean, 3rd and 4th quarters, remember, they were tied 10-10 at East Coweta, and it was a 31-10 final.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I'll tell you what, when you talk about that size, remember, that size looked like almost a duplicity effect in the first half. 11 looked like 12.
1st and 10, ball on the 45. They hand off straight ahead. A great little run by C.J. Thomas again. East Coweta, that game, 31-10 final. That's where Jeremy Myers attended when Jeff Francour got the interception to break the all-time record for the Parkview Panthers, if you recall, Bo. And one of the things Jeremy Myers said when he came out of the stands, kind of congratulating for breaking his record, is he said, that record doesn't matter unless you win a state title. So you got to go out and get that done. Right. And that's what he'll have a chance to do next week.
Told Francour he was there when he broke his record, when he got his 12th interception. He said, well, you probably got a couple of cheap ones.
And what a great story Jeremy Myers is over at Georgia Tech. 2nd and 4. The handoff is outside to Brad Lester, the freshman. 3:54 to go, 3rd and 4. You know, Parkview, when they played last time, Bo, the 8-7 win for Parkview against Harrison, they fumbled twice in the overtime period and lost it and still won the game.
I think Coach Flo just looking at the clock now and saying, make it go faster.
Move along. 3rd and 4. Handoff up the middle, and they'll come up a little short. Sean Dawkins getting another carry.
Well, Westside now bringing everybody up to the line of scrimmage, and Coach Flo is not going to take advantage of that. It just wants to run the ball.
Jonathan Walker, Bo, by the way, in previewing next week's Harrison and Parkview matchup, he said he wants another shot at the Parkview Panthers. He's a big timer and hasn't made a decision where he's going to school next year. But what better way to highlight a tremendous season for Harrison than to go to Parkview and do something?
Revenge is a big motive in the National Football League, in big-time college athletics, and you know, also in high school.
I'm sure they'd like to be playing that game, though, in the Georgia Dome as opposed to having to travel to Parkview.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You want to talk about atmosphere?
Oh, it's great. It's great at Parkview.
I mean, what that place is going to be like, and they're going to have to get ready for the onslaught, expecting in the number of 12 to 15,000 fans anyway. They'll try to go more and put in some additional stands and really get that place ready to celebrate a state championship.
Westside takes a timeout here, but when you talk about Parkview, and you also have to include Brookwood, only a couple of miles apart, two of the best high school programs in the state.
You know, Cecil Flo has become a legend in Georgia high school sports, and he's as proud of this team as the one he won the state championship with in '97.
This team, like no other team, I'm proud of because they've battled through some adversity. They've gotten over some humps that people said they couldn't get over. You know, we struggled offensively to begin with, and we made changes and we righted ourselves, and you know, we're producing points now, and it's a good balance now. Our defense has been strong all year long, and it's a good balance now. Our team has played well, and I'm tickled that they've stuck together as a team.
I haven't observed those offensive problems from what I've seen up here tonight, Paul.
And they are a very well-balanced team. They can run it, they can throw it. Obviously, we've seen Salmon's on.
They ran a formation there basically to be able to hold on to the football, and I guess it was to get Westside making offsides, although I'll be honest with you, I was looking at you for a moment there.
Well, actually what they did, they came out with their hands on their knees, and then you were able to shift. If you put your hands on the ground, you can't shift. You can't move up and down after that with your hands on your knees.
Encroachment on the defense, 5-yard penalty.
Very similar to what Tom Landry used to do with the Cowboys. Remember, before every snap, they would come out hands on the knees. They would all go up in unison and then go down and put their hands on the grass.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way, at this point of the game, really. I mean, you know,
hang on to it, run the clock out.
Yeah, I mean, they're not trying to embarrass anybody. They're trying to hold the football, and they're also trying to get some of their kids carries that may not get carries. You have a senior, C.J. Thomas, in his last game, certainly in the Georgia Dome. 1st and 10, 2:43 to go. They'll try to continue to run this thing out with quarterback Dustin Wade in the game. They give to Thomas. And, Bo, I got to imagine a lot of the reason why Thomas continues to get these carries that he is a senior.
Exactly. Just go out with a flourish.
Next week, Harrison will have to start thinking about Jeff Francour, about Sean Dawkins, about Clint Salmons, tight end Kirk Alexander. The offense certainly has come together. And also, Bo, Joey Sturdivant, who's had 3 games in a row now where he's made a play like that and get down to the 1-yard line on a big catch they had earlier today.
Great way for a sophomore to break in.
The handoff is to Thomas. He fights his way down to about the 35-yard line. Clock continues to move.
Nothing Westside can do about it at this point. No use calling your last timeout.
No. This score is indicative of what happened here tonight. Doesn't need to be any worse. Parkview has dominated literally from the start. The one hiccup was the Clint Salmons interception on their first possession. Since that time, it's been rock and roll for the Parkview Panthers. Handoff again up the middle of C.J. Thomas. He goes outside and gets cut down on the play.
Seminoles still playing hard. 4 or 5 men getting to the football.
Dwight McKee making a hit. Bo, they have a tradition with Parkview of how they handle game day. And Cecil Flo did not want to break tradition, despite the fact that they're playing a 9 p.m. game, which is not the norm. And that's why the whole team went to breakfast this morning at the Golden Corral, like they do every morning. That's right.
Well, it's, you keep the traditions together. You like the way they take the field.
You told me, Bo, you went how many years before you changed your underwear at Miami? Because you guys were on a hot streak?
Oh, it was ages. We won a lot of games. We were the stinkiest team in the South.
I've heard that. They said that about our radio show, too. 4th down and 4. Flags down everywhere. 33 seconds to go in this one. Somebody jumped. Somebody's procedure. Looks like Kirk Alexander.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, you got a new quarterback in there, Dustin Wade. You've got, by the way, Nick Auer, their offensive coordinator, Cecil Flo, talking with Dustin Wade. New quarterback, some new offensive linemen.
If you have TiVo, set your TVs now. Next Friday, 7:30, Statesboro and Shaw in the 4A championship final. And then Saturday night at Parkview, the Harrison Hoyas and the Parkview Panthers play to call themselves the state champions from Georgia. Jonathan Walker and Jeff Francour and all kinds of other.
And you can see all of the games live.
Where are you going to see them? Where are you going to see them? This one's over. Parkview Panthers run out the clock. 27-0. The Parkview Panthers looking to repeat what they did in 1997 when they won the state championship, and they are just about home, no pun intended. They'll try to complete the state championship on Saturday night when they host the Harrison Hoyas. A total efficient performance by one of the great programs in this state.
I think we might have one more play remaining.
Why would we bring him back for another play here? What would be the purpose?
Might have been a defensive penalty.
You need, gentlemen, you need to call this a ball game.
They did. They just did.
And then they did. And then there were 2.
Cecil Flo, Robert Davis.
Cecil Flo, Coach Flo, and Coach Davis, 2 of the greats, 2 coaching legends in the state of Georgia. And Coach Davis knows that he was undermanned. Coach Davis knows he went up against the state power. And I thought they both handled themselves with a lot of class, especially when this game was very evident it was a blowout.
Coach Davis said, saying you're too big for me, Coach, and Coach Flo is saying, what a great job you've done to bring this young program to this point in the state playoffs. Deeper than any team has gone from a Macon public school in 25 years.
Let's go down to the field. Rob's got the championship coach.
Well, Coach, it's hard to believe saying that an undefeated team ever struggled, but you guys really did struggle offensively at the beginning of the year. How gratifying has it been to watch these guys grow and come together and get to this point?
Well, it's great. I mean, it's been a work in progress. The kids have tried really hard. They're a prideful bunch, and they weren't happy with how things were going early. Everybody was talking about how terrible they were. We can't score touchdowns. The offense can't play. The defense is playing good. And we challenged them a little bit, we said, look, we make some changes. We got to move the football, and I told some of the kids that were in there that we changed out. We got to do what's best for the football team.
Well, Coach, congratulations. One more breakfast at the Golden Corral. Let's go back upstairs to Jim.
All right, thanks, Rob Tribble. A great ball game. Parkview Panthers definitely the champions tonight against Westside Macon. And, of course, next weekend it'll be the 5A championship against Harrison. We'll take a break. Be back in just a moment.
Major funding for the Georgia High School Association Championships is provided by